Don't move to Wichita unless you're cool with these 6 things. Now, before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share. It really helps the channel grow the influence, grow the exposure to Wichita and everything else. That way we can get ranked high. More people can see this instead of all those like nonsense influencers that aren't really in Wichita, from Wichita, and trying to promote and grow the city. Like we are that's here locally, trying to really grow the channel and grow exposure for everything to give you the real boots on the ground from the people who live here, work here, and give you the best cultural insight and also market insights, everything. So please like, comment, subscribe, share. That's how we help grow this thing. And if we can help you out at all in any way, we get calls on these videos all the time and we love them. So we're very happy to take your calls and see how we can personally help you out on. But I'm going to give you 6 things that you don't want to move to Wichita unless you're cool with. And the first one is that you got to be cool with the slow paced lifestyle. Because the truth is, we just move a lot slower around here, from our driving to our talking to our thinking to just everything. So just you got to really fully take into account this is a big city of about 600,000 metro area in Wichita. It's the biggest city in Kansas. It's not just a bunch of farms and hicks, although you might be tempted to think that. But because of the easy pace of lifestyle and easy pace of living, everything's pretty slow. So if you're an impatient person or you're expecting things to get done fast, just know that that's not really what this part of the world is like. And so if that's something that's going to be a problem for you, you kind of need to evaluate, do I want to move to Wichita or not? If I don't want to slow pace the lifestyle, like I'll be honest, I kind of get annoyed with that sometimes when it comes down to like getting things done for business, that no one's really in a rush, no one's really in a hurry. They got a lot of time here in Wichita. That's probably one of our biggest benefits you get in Wichita is you have a lot of time. And so when you have a lot of time, you tend to move things slower because you realize how much of it you have. Our drive times are 15 to 20 minutes everywhere in this city. And people typically take their time driving with that because it's not like they got to rush everywhere. So in some ways, that's good that you have a slow paced lifestyle. But in other ways, it can be frustrating if you're trying to get things done quickly or you're in a crunch, just because things don't typically operate and move swiftly around here. Kind of slow a little bit. I don't want to say behind the times. I don't think that's a fair representation, of our city as a whole. But we're just a little bit slower to adopt, being that we're in the middle of the country, both geographically and culturally, without getting into politics and all those other things that go with that. We're pretty in the middle of everything between the East Coast and the West Coast. So our culture and things tend to move a little bit slower than everything else. But in some ways, that's good because if you kind of pay attention to what's going on in the coast and then do it here, you're a little bit ahead of the times here on everything. So, and I kind of already got into number 2, which is don't move to Wichita unless you like to drive a long time, with everything, and also walk a long time. And in some ways, wait a long time, like at restaurants, entertainment, things like that. We have such a great commute time, 15 to 20 minutes just about everywhere. We have tons of parking, compared to other bigger major cities like Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Denver, any other major metro. We are one of the top 50 biggest cities in the country in Wichita. So that is one thing to consider, that, we are a big city by population wise, but culturally we're pretty small town type of thinking. So we get really spoiled with our 15, 20-minute drives. If we have to drive 30 minutes anywhere, you kind of hear Wichita people being like, oh my gosh, it's so far. But it's really not that far when you compare it to other major metros and major areas around the area. Same thing with parking. Like our parking, we have a ton of parking lots. People love parking very close to wherever they're going to, not having to walk that far. Whether you're young or old, it's just more of a convenience factor on everything. I will say, though, that you do have to drive a good amount of places to do things. Wichita is getting better at being a walkable city, but for the most part, by and large, you are driving to a lot of places to go seek things out. Like our downtown area is getting better about walkability, but for the most part, a large majority drive everywhere they go. It's kind of a Wichita culture thing to drive and park everywhere you go, even though you could walk on everything. So something to kind of take into account if you're moving to Wichita. Even though you don't drive very far, you do drive a lot to get to places because it is so spread out. on everything. But you will have plenty of parking, you know, comparatively to other major metro areas on everything. Obviously, if you were coming from a smaller town, that might be different, you know, that kind of thing. If you're from a smaller town in Kansas or another part of the country and you're coming to Wichita, it might seem big city to you, but big city compared to some of the other larger cities than us, you know, we got it pretty good relatively. So don't come to Wichita if you want to drive a long time, or if you plan to walk to a lot of places, although we're getting better about that. So um, number 3, I would say, is don't move to Wichita if you're looking for a lot of geographic sites. And what I mean by that is, you know, like hiking, lakes, you know, natural features like that. One thing about Kansas that I'm going to be very neutral and objective on is that it's very flat. You know, it is flatter than a pancake geographically. In college, we took a geography class and they statistically prove that Kansas is on a flat slope from Colorado over to Missouri that has less elevation difference than the curvature of a pancake. So if you want to know, Kansas is flatter than a pancake. Legitimately, that is what my geography professor taught me in college, is that we are legitimately flatter than a pancake. So with that, obviously there isn't a lot of, you know, terrain to go hiking if you want to do that. There are some trees around here, but there are no like major forests, things like that. We do have lakes like El Dorado Lake, Cheney Lake, some other smaller fishing lakes, but you know, by and large, they do not compare to like Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, you know, Arkansas, some of the rivers in Oklahoma, and some of those areas of the world. Same with Colorado. That is one thing that you just have to be fair about, is that Kansas, Wichita lacks geography. Now there are some cool things around here. I'm not going to say there aren't. Like the Flint Hills do have really cool features that aren't too far away, like the Tallgrass Prairie Natural Reserve, where you can go see bison, like natural bison, although don't go close to them. Like they are wild animals and they will run you over, but you can go on kind of a prairie walk hike that has buffalo around there. And there are a lot of cool things to do around Wichita. So I don't want to knock it to say like there isn't anything to do. I'm just saying that if you're looking for geographic sites around the area, you know, we don't have a whole lot of those, although we do fly a lot. So if you like to fly airplanes, you know, it's a big aviation town with Spirit being here, Beechcraft, Cessna, and has a lot of aviation routes. And there's a good amount of people who do fly, you know, personal planes, jets, that kind of thing, like out of Stearman Airfield on everything. So there is plenty of cool things to do here. It's just not necessarily going to be as apparent as, you know, a mountain in your face or a giant lake or things of that nature. So don't move to Wichita if you're looking for a lot of geographic sites like that. But I will tell you the misnomer to that is that you can always fly from Wichita to wherever you're trying to go fairly easily. Since we're centrally located, we have a big enough airport, we can get to wherever we needed to go fairly quickly and easily. You know, some places are direct flight, most of them are 2 flights type of situation to get to, because I love traveling, I love hiking and adventures. And it's weird because I find myself always coming back to live in Wichita, and I'm from here and I visit a lot of other places. But it helps give me a good perspective on all the other cool geographic sites to visit, and then live in Wichita and come back and be able to travel back and forth on everything. So number 4 that we're starting to get into right now of October is don't move to Wichita unless you're okay with every season, because we get every season here, all the way from -10 to 110 and everywhere in between on everything. Now, in some ways that could be annoying. In some ways that can be cool because you get variety, you get change. You're not going to get the same old all year round. You get to experience spring, summer, fall, winter. If you've never seen snow before, there's some people like my partner Rico, who's from Mississippi, had never seen snow before until he came to Wichita and saw it and was like, what's this white stuff on the ground? So I mean, in some ways you do get every season, and that's cool. In some bad ways you get every season, and that's not cool. And so it's kind of up to you whether you want to experience all those things or not. But don't move to Wichita if you're not okay with every season happening. And going from, you know, summers where it's 80, 90, 100 degrees and it's light out from 6 in the morning all the way till 9 o'clock at night, and then going to the winter where it can be like a high of 20 or a high of 30, and it is light out only from 8 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. So we get every mix of all of that. in between of every season. So there is a lot of change that you have to deal with. Your house has to deal with, the market has to deal with, the economy, everything between it all. So don't move to Wichita unless you're okay with every season that's out there. Number 5 is don't move to Wichita unless you're down to earth and chill, because this is probably what I would say what the people of Wichita are like, is they are very down to earth and they're chill, and they're the salt of the earth, blue collar, manufacturing based type of people, just good hearted, good, solid, hardworking people that work a lot in like the agricultural industries, healthcare industries, aviation industries, things of that nature. We're a big little town is the best way to put it. And we still kind of act a little bit like a little town, which has kind of that like down to earth, good old fashioned values and principles of treating people right, doing them right, working hard, do what you say what you're going to do type of thing. And that's the type of person you're going to get when you run into the people of Wichita, to understand who they are and what they're like and what the culture is like. So if that's not entirely you, or you don't entirely vibe with those type of people, or you're bored by them, don't move to Wichita unless you're down to earth and chill. And that's also what you're looking for, is down to earth and chill people on everything. And number 6, finally, don't move to Wichita unless you're looking for a big little town, which I kind of already went over on this. We got big city amenities like a Top Golf, like a major baseball stadium, like a big river, a pretty developed downtown area, which it's getting even more developed, comparatively to other cities around us. But we do still have kind of that small town feel, where the culture of the people kind of want to pretend and act like it's small, even though it's a metro size of 600,000 people. There's 10,000 transactions that go on in our real estate market. So there's plenty of activity when it comes to housing. There's plenty of jobs. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here still, but it does have some of that small town feel, especially if you live towards like the outskirts of the city, like Maize or Goddard or Derby, or Andover. You get kind of that small town feel on everything. So that's my 6 things to not move to Wichita unless you're cool with. Hopefully it helps you get a little more insight into Wichita and what it's like. Go ahead and check out some of my other videos that can kind of help you with this. Or if I can help you directly, shoot me a call. My number should be below. Or check out my website to look at houses and have fun researching, checking out Wichita. I'd love to discuss and talk to you about my hometown. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and we'll leave it at that. See ya.